And this is Dhruv. And today we are going to review the trailer of the Nigerian movie called Casanova. It's a 2019 movie and it is available on Netflix. And if I check out the IMDb for this movie, the description says a romantic comedy about a single dad who falls in love with the mother of his son's crush. It is a battle for love, highlighting family, friendship, and love. The
Hmm.
The director is Olusei Asurf. Writers are Tomi Edeseni and Olusei Asurf. It stars Toyin Abraham, Ruby Akubeuze, Yomi Alvin, and many others. So let's check this out.
Yeah.
How long have you been there?
Well, long enough to see your beautiful face.
You really do have lines, don't you?
Yeah, I know we've not exactly been on good terms, and in some parts I've been rude to you.
Are you alright? You look worried.
Yeah, I'm worried about you.
But the real question, Jason, is do you really want this?
Good Lord getting rid of me.
Your boy is Hanzo.
He's not my bubble. What
You think I know that he's your baba?
Oh, tell me. Mommy, make my nurse. I will just give her CPR.
Nurse.
Are you...
CPR.
Yeah. Let me think of a plan. Let me think of a plan.
Shut up!
Bíbánkẹ́ bọ́jọ́ bá ń rọ̀ fi mí sílẹ̀.
Jason, please stop. Well done.
tó bá pé àhàhà mi bẹ̀ tí bá sùn máa gbá ìtì ẹ̀. What did you say?
That I've done so many things.
I totally misjudged you, but knowing you now, you're amazing.
Do you think you will ever love someone again?
I haven't really been lucky with that thing called love.
I don't think you get lucky. I think you get intention.
All I requested was that you don't hurt me. But I'm guessing that wasn't enough.
What if I said I'm sorry? What if I make a scene?
It's all about you. All the damn time.
What are you on about?
Don't throw yourself on music event or her daughter's birthday.
A rebellious, rude, recalcitrant teenager. Thank you very much.
I just really want to apologize for what happened. This doesn't really... For me, this is too serious.
So, at least I'll say the first thing. In the beginning, the trailer was pretty confusing, but I think I kind of started understanding it towards the latter half. And the background music was so loud that I couldn't hear the dialogues properly.
Hmm.
Yeah, it was a bit too loud for me to understand that.
Yeah. Looking at the story, you feel like it's a very complicated situation. I mean, if you fall in love with a person and suddenly you come to know your child is in love with that person's child, then it becomes a big dilemma because, I mean, the first thing is it's expected maybe that, the parents should sacrifice. But then if you think about it, at that age, I mean, once you are beyond your 40s, to find love is something very difficult. I mean, as a young person, I feel it's easier to find love as compared to other ages. I'm not saying that it's always easy to find love when you're young, but still, when you're beyond your 40s, that's a time when, you're it's not an infatuation, first of all, right? And it's a very difficult decision to make, I'm sure. What do you say?
Yeah, but that's also the thing. Like, young love and old love are completely different ball games, right? Young love is more about attraction. Older love is about compatibility and whether we can even tolerate each other. Like, it has less to do with looks and more to do with, how will our day-to-day life look like, and can we handle each other? Is it better for me to be with this person? Can we support each other? It's a whole, those are two completely different definitions. And I remember this was something kind of like was explored in Master of None, which is an Aziz Ansari series. It's a comedy drama series. In that, like Aziz's friend's dad was dating, he was like maybe in his 60s, and he was dating two women at the same time. And Aziz goes up, he and his friend go up to the dad and they're like, wow, that is so cool, you're dating two women. How do you make it happen? And he says, because we don't have many, like, how do you convince those women? And he said that at this age, they don't have much of a choice. Like, it's just that at an older age, you get into, you kind of have to prioritize, you know, even if it's not ideal, like you make such compromises because you feel like, you know what, at least being with someone is a little better for me. Even if it's not the ideal situation, you're compromising so much, your values are different altogether, right? So at that age, and it also shows that those two women knew about each other and yet they were dating the same guy. It shows that it's so tough to find someone at that age. When you're younger, you're also malleable, right? So you haven't formed that much. If you fall in love, you kind of keep changing a little here and there. But when you're old, you have already gone through so much, you're not very changeable. So at that time, to find that compatibility is so much tougher because you're not that malleable. Your habits are set, your thought processes are set, you know. That's why they say, right, like if you start learning a new language or start learning to drive at an older age, it's tougher because you can only take new information and change a little till a certain point. But after that, you're like, you know, you're like a metal or something. I mean, that's a weird example, but you're not very malleable. Also, you are very tainted. So the fact that you know, because I already see in like 30s, people you meet in their 30s, right? They've gone through so many heartbreaks that they are a little skeptical and cautious falling in love. So imagine people older than that who might have lost a spouse or gone through a divorce. Like, that is so extreme. And so for them to find someone on the same page and kind of start trusting someone, it's so much harder than someone who is young in their 20s or 19s or whatever. So it's a different ball game altogether. It's tougher.
Yeah. But then on the other hand, we also have the fact that, you know, younger people too have, well, I mean, you start falling in love at what age? You know, it's different ages for different people. I mean, some people start falling in love as children, you know, so from your childhood to your 20s, maybe you had a lot of experiences too, probably, and maybe you believe that you're not simply infatuated by the person. Maybe you have found the love of your life, at least you believe that, right? And then if you're supposed to let go of that because your parent needs to have the companionship, that again is, you know, it's a dilemma for the young person. And you can never know. I mean, when it comes to love, you can never say that, you know, at this age you would have finally realized who would be the perfect person for you, or that this is love and this is not some infatuation or a passion or just, you know, something that you fell for. At any age, you cannot say that, okay, you found the correct person. I mean, see, the thing is, even after marriage, people get divorced, right? After years of marriage, people get divorced. So there's no saying, there's no telling what person's love is true love and what person's love is not true love. And even in any case, let us suppose that either the parent or the child, they give up, right? They give up on their love so that the other person is happy. Either the child gives it up for the parent or the parent gives it up for the child. But then again, then what? What's the next thing? Because you're already in love with your child's crush's parent, and the child is already in love with his friend or whatever. So in the end, if you do, whoever goes on with the relationship, it's still going to be tough because you know each other, you have fallen for each other. So what is it that is to be done? Because even if one sacrifices, that's not the answer for it.
Yeah, it's messy. It's a very messy situation. And I mean, there is no right answer to this. There is absolutely no right answer. Like the expectation obviously is from the kid's end is obviously that the parent would sacrifice, but it depends on the kid as well, that he's like, if they are more understanding of their parents' situation, they might be able to get through with it. But obviously there's, in every age, you feel you're right, you know?
Yes.
When you're young, you feel like, yes, this is true love. And when you're older, like everybody is right in their perspective. And it's such a ambiguous thing that like no one till now has been even able to define what love is to begin with. Like people, if you say I love you and then you ask someone like, why do you love me, like they can tell you the things they like about you, but it's not, no one can explain what love is to begin with. So you know, how do you, if something is undefined, how do you even like logically even try to come to a solution, right? You can't. So it's a very tricky situation. And it says that that is that guy, the child's crush. So they're not like seeing each other. But so in that sense, it, you know, it makes a stronger case for the parent, you know, in that way. But like still, it's kind of awkward. You like that crush becomes your sister, like so strange. That is so strange. Like, how do you switch that up in your head, right? Like,
Yeah.
yeah.
And maybe the child would feel that, hey, that was my crush and I never even got a chance, you know, and that builds up anger. And eventually it would, you know, it would harm the relationship between the parent and the child. That, you know, because of you, I didn't go to have a chance. I didn't get even a chance to tell my crush that I'm fond of you or whatever.
Or that you didn't act like a parent, you didn't sacrifice for me, which you should have, right?
True.
So it's like you were not a good parent because this is what happened. And I liked one of the dialogues in that stood out to me when the older couple were talking, and the guy was what is it? It's not about attraction, it's about intention, something like that, right? The fact was like, it's about intention, that at that age when you meet someone, you both are messy, you both are carrying baggage, you are both carrying some kind of trauma. You have to, right? You have gone through things. Even if you were single and you're meeting, then even as a single person, you have carried some trauma, something, some things have happened by the age you are like 40 or above. So at that time, like, you know, how romantic stories are, like, oh, Prince Charming, and he's like dashing and he looks like Hugh Jackman, but it doesn't really work that way, right? As you grow older, it's about like, it is about intention, because you know that no person is going to fit the list or whatever idea exactly as you thought you would. When you're younger, you're looking for the exact match because you think you will get a customized person to your needs. But as you grow older, you understand it's not going to happen. So if you come even close enough to some of the things and you compromise on other things, that's where you bring in intention. And so it's a very calculated thought process there. It's more calculated than impulsive, and it's very tough as an older person. In that case, I sympathize a little more with the older folks, but then, you know, it's ambiguous.
Yeah. So that's interesting what you just pointed out, that, you know, you as a younger person, you're trying to get a custom-made person to fall in love with. But eventually you realize it's simply this, that this is the lot that you have out of the people that you know, and you have to choose the best pick. These are the people I know. These are the people who I can have a relationship with. And you just have to realize that in reality, you don't get custom-made person to fall in love with. You have to just find the best person whom you can adjust the most with, who you find life to be most pleasant with, whom you find to be a good companion, basically.
Right. A good partner. Right. Then at least from my perspective, the criteria is that person should bring more value to your life than you being by yourself. That at least, that is the basic criteria. So if the parents are finding that's the case, then I feel a little I have a softer corner for the parent than the child. But again, who is to say who's right, who's wrong? Everybody's right in their own perspective. So it would be interesting to see what happens in the movie and what kind of a character does the child have. Is he an understanding kid, or is he that you messed me up? What happens? What solution do they come to? Do the parents come together or not? Or do they just decide that it's just easier to not do anything about it and leave the situation as is? That would be just really interesting to watch. So cool.
So I am interested in watching this movie just for the sake of knowing what is that they find as a solution. That is what intrigues me the most. What is the solution to this?
Yeah, it is definitely a cliffhanger kind of a topic, right? I liked that, and I like the topic. I think these kind of situations would have happened in many cases, and that they're discussing such a topic. It's kind of cool. I like it. All right, guys. So if you liked our video, please subscribe to our channel and actually go ahead and give us a like. Also, hit that bell icon so that you are notified every time we upload a new video. We do that weekly. Let us also know if you want us to talk about anything else in the comment section. Until next time, फिर मिलेंगे.
Bye.